Fox dude, unfinished project. What's happening? Still settling in. What's happening? Set everything down a little bit. How's that? Oh, perfect. Welcome, everyone. Ooh, look at that. So what is happening out there, everyone? My neighbor come see me last weekend, and he's got a newer Kia Soul. And he says it was running crappy, so it asked if I had a scan tool. So I looked it up. We hooked it up to the scan tool and read off the codes. And multiple cylinder misfire on 1, multiple cylinder misfire on 3, and both 79 seconds. Come on, Danster. Tick, tick. So both cams were advanced and then a few other things. And the VVT sensors on the cam had the thing running with full timing all the time, advanced. I don't imagine that thing ran very happy with full timing. And he actually, yes, can I still drive it? And I go, I don't know, I wouldn't, but he goes, oh, I just got to go here and I just got to go there. And yeah, he finally's like, I'm done driving it. He finally got the VVT sensors replaced today. So he says it starts a lot better. I can only imagine how hard that thing had to start with full timing. Yosef, hello. I was surprised it was it's right on top of the end. He's a older guy, but luckily for him, it's right on top of the engine, and so it's easy to get to and stuff. And it wasn't that expensive either. I think it was like $35 for both the sensors. So I look it all up and I get my readings off of the scan gun, and I got a little book, and I look up what the codes mean, and then finally I deduct. I go, I think it's the VVT, the cam sensors, or the VVT sensors, or whatever they are. So I think it's those, and it's full advanced. And after I did all that, he goes, wow, you're smart. That's what a guy at the auto parts store told me 2 weeks ago. So that was your second opinion? Okay. Patrick, hello. But she's all patched together. Mohawk, what's happening? But it's all patched together, and I didn't have to change any parts. I just got to diagnose it. So, hell yeah. I'm thinking about, I want to get a rear sway bar for shop truck, and I've been meaning to go out and get a Lincoln Town Car rear sway bar, like a 2000 Lincoln Town Car Fox Panther platform, and that and like '09 Dodge Durango end links. And Mark, what's happening? Mark is really busy tonight. Really busy. Whoa, Junkyard D, what's happening? So the rear sway bar, the one I want to get off of Lincoln Town Car, well, I was just looking them up on Car Dash Part just to see what yards got them, and I found out that there's the limousine package rear sway bar. Just checking things. Just loaded my 1000th truck. So there's a limousine package that comes with a thicker sway bar, and it's oh, thank you. In Jags. Hope I said that right. I put an ass rock into your PC today. Oh, so is it all like bigger, better, faster, stronger than before? We have the technology. Ah, Mex, good to see ya. Chicken nuggets. What's happening? So yeah, there is one of the limousine package rear sway bars up north of Holland, which is kind of a long drive for me. But if I get the limousine sway bar, then that's thicker and that'll help my truck handle better. So yeah, I might go. We'll see after Christmas. But yeah, I might be. I'll be in the market for a rear sway bar, whether it be a stock town car one or a limousine package. We'll see. Hopefully, I get the limousine package. Danster, the truck. If you want a rear sway bar for your truck, the best one to go find is off of a like 79 F350. Those rear sway bars basically will work on about anything. They're hard to find, very hard to find. But yeah, those things you can swap into about everything. Grab one from a defunct P30. Yeah, it's been snowing pretty steady here in the great state of Michigan. I'll bet you there's 18 inches of snow on my roof right now. Every bit of it. So besides rear sway bar, I've been thinking about making a heat exchanger for my diesel heater. I got a diesel heater as an early Christmas gift, and I want to make a heat exchanger to glean heat off of the exhaust, and I want to use a 55-gallon drum. And I've got I'm going to fill it full of sand, essentially, pump the exhaust heat through it, and then have radiant heat on top of that. Should work out pretty good. Oh, P30, some older RVs, bread trucks, delivery units. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, radiant heat is awesome. And not to mention, there's a boatload of heat that comes off the exhaust on one of these things. My brother-in-law fired one up for me last Christmas, and that was the first time I had ever actually seen one in action. And I was impressed with its heat output, but everything that was coming off the front of it was going out the exhaust. The exhaust was just as hot as what's heating the chamber. It really brought the room up to temperature quick too. Pretty cool unit. I've also been saving my used motor oil, so I got to dream up my friend Blair gave me a small block Chevy oil pump, and I'm going to turn that into a transfer pump, and then I'm going to run that through a 5 micron oil filter, and I'm going to run it with a drill, and then I'm going to filter my oil down to 5 micron so it's nice and clean, and I'm going to run it probably less than 50-50 diesel used motor oil mix in the heater. It's probably going to be like a little over a quart to 3/4, like a quarter of a gallon of oil to 3/4 of a gallon of fuel, like 25%. Palm trees are blooming here. It was in the 30s today. I don't even think it got. I think our high today was like 24. Canada Catalyst and Geo Metro Angle stationary mounted Outback and put the radiator in the shop. Okay. I understand. So it runs outside and okay. Uh, Diesel heater like the one DD Speed Shop just put in the trunk of a 55 snowplow. It's your average one off of Amazon, the Vivor 8 kilowatt. Yeah. Yeah, the one that you see everywhere. That's what I got. So the cool thing is I want to build the 55-gallon drum with a riser. So it's only about as tall as whatever a 3-inch elbow would be, the length of that. I just want the barrel that high, much higher up off the ground. And I'm going to make a chimney that goes through it out of 3-inch exhaust tubing. Basically, it's going to come in through the floor, come up, and then just about to the top, it's going to make a 90 and exit out the back. And it's going to be all welded in. And that is just to allow heat. It'll just naturally pull itself through. And then on top of that, there'll be the coil, and it'll be full of sand. And after that, I'm gonna make a box, and the exhaust is gonna spiral down. So in that case, if there's any moisture in the system, it's gonna go down and then out of the barrel and then into a box. The exhaust is gonna run into a box, and then another piece of 3-inch tube is going to be welded into that box, and then it goes up as a chimney, and it's going to go right through the wall in my shop where the wood stove used to be a long time ago. So I'm hoping to also be able to run the air intake through the same opening and just put the exhaust out further and then make the air intake go down. And that way I'm using the heat gleaned off of the smokestack to heat my air charge going into my furnace or going into the diesel heater. So it'll take a long time for that to warm up because I got to warm up the barrel, but the barrel is going to stay. I haven't used it yet, Junkyard. As a matter of fact, it's here in the house, still in the box. I mean, I took it out of the box and looked at it and read the owner's manual and put it all back in the box. I have not used it at all, not once. I've been meaning to go get a barrel and go get some. It's going to weigh about 350 or 450 pounds because of Salty. What's happening? And then, so it's going to be, I want to actually make it to where it can be pushed around. So I'm going to take some of the excess tubing after I make everything for the exhaust, and I want to make the legs out of that. And then I want to get a thick plate and then make a shoe that goes on the bottom of the leg with a curled edge so it can be pushed around the shop if need be. I don't think it'll ever be moved, but especially where it is. But if I need to move it, I want it to be able to be moved easily. So that's kind of what's going on in my measly little brain these days is a heat exchanger. Oh, and I want to start insulating my garage. Is it the tall, skinny one? Okay. I'll pull out the box and show it to you. Yeah, it's tall and skinny. Oh, you like the LFs and everything where they're squared. Some look like a big torpedo. Yeah, mine's the tall, skinny one, but it's right here. There it is. That's about its dimensions. Live unboxing. I already unboxed it though. Basically, all it is the heater, the little silencer muffler thingamajiggy, a little piece of exhaust tubing, and an owner's manual in a little box. Wagner? No, Vivor. It's straight off the old Amazon. Oh, meathead thing. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Drugs are bad, okay? Drugs are bad, okay? Meathead. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't heard much, but I've heard enough to know things aren't good. So, yeah, not cool. Ah, Lindsay Wagner, the Bionic Woman. Right on. I'm thinking of the short, longer ones for mounting under the for mounting under the van on the frame rail and pipe it in. That's basically what Volkswagen did in Beetles and in microbuses. It was just a little gasoline engine to heat the car, and it had an automatic start stop. Um, and it ran off of the fuel supply of the car too. My neighbor to the north of me had a because the miserable heat in his Beetle because he seen Lady Dougster's Beetle and he was all when I was painting it he was tickled pink and he told me all sorts of cool stories of him messing with Beetles back in the day. Well, his heater would just kick on and off whenever it wanted to, so it'd start up and run, and then middle of the night the car would be running in the driveway. The little heater would be running. I don't know how it started or anything. I've never seen one of those in action, but I've heard of them. The episode of How Fuller House, they had Lindsay and Lee together on a yacht. They were bickering like old married people. Kid was thrown out as it should be. You can only do so much for somebody like that. I'm sure you'll learn more soon. I still make the noise when I walk on the moving. No, 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 no. That's got to be weird walking on the moving sidewalk. Um, Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top, he was in a band called the Moving Sidewalks before he was started anything dealing with ZZ Top. And Billy Gibbons was Jimi Hendrix's favorite guitarist. That's an honor. Where was Oscar Goldman? I have an old bus heater. I'm going to hook up to a small one to. Okay, that'll work. I wish I could walk that fast. I can walk pretty fast, just not for a long time. But I'm getting better. Oh, it's the Dougster. Hi, Ruby. Oh. I get on camera? There you go. Ruby. That's my girl, huh? Yes, the Dougster. I've determined my local crackheads aren't very good. Posted a bunch of catalytic converters for far, far less money than they go for. 4 no shows already. Main Street Mopar, what's happening? Dutch Guy's Garage, what's happening? I don't I don't understand. You know, leaving some meat on the bone and Miss McCommon had told him who Oscar Goldman was. Now we need to go look. Where it was Oscar Goldman. $300 of meat on the bone, and that still wasn't enough. Oh, there's always a bunch of promises. I already noticed that. Everyone's coming from all across the nation and want you to meet them halfway. They hunt for the sport, not the meat. Ooh. Junkyard D, that was very sage. Yeah, they hunt for sport, not for meat. Oscar Goldman was the $6 million man's boss. Was Steve Austin's boss. Ah, you know how old I was when I would watch $6 million Man? I'm too lazy to drive up to the big city to do this. Dutch, if you need someone, I work right. I'll come get them for you, bud. Take right care of them. Throw them in the back of my truck. Used to be a guy over by the lake shore. He and his brother were just buying catalytic converters, paying cash, and they would amass a big load, and they would take that big load down somewhere in Chicago, and they had cash deals figured out with the Chicago connection. So periodically they would drive their straight truck down to Chicago and make a delivery, and then the guy literally would walk away with a briefcase full of cash. And one particular day, what's my favorite fruit? Favorite fruit. I like bananas. So unfortunately, one morning he got paid, walked out with a briefcase full of money, got in his truck. Somebody stepped up on the side of the straight truck and pew-pewed him in the head. Took the money. That is really sad. The problem is that you want money for them, and that's why they're not coming to get them. You know, if you said free, they'll drive from Tallahassee, Florida to you for free. You know, they'll spend more in fuel coming to you than they're worth, but free, it's for them. But yeah, it's because you want to get paid. They don't want to pay you. Well, it's not crack. A lot of times it's heroin, unfortunately. There's some guys that I grew up around. Those guys would steal Christ off the cross and come back for the nails, I swear. It got to the point where, you know, you heard enough stuff and you seen enough stuff, or they started coming around and you're like, possess a catalytic converter in Ohio, well, then everyone driving a car is in violation. I know what you mean, Dan. Um, they've, over the years, they've taken steps to make it harder for scrappers to make fast cash. Like for a long time, um, they instituted a rule where you got paid, you did get paid the actual amount that you turned in your load for, especially if it was fast cash stuff like or big cash items like catalytic converters and stuff. But what they would do is it would be a deferred payment of 90 days. So it was just you got paid by a check 90 days from when you turned in. So that was to um, discourage the guys turning stuff in for drugs because they want the cash now. Wonder Woman was her heroine. Whew. Linda Carter. Ow! What a beautiful woman. And you see pictures of her when she was like pre-Wonder Woman. You're like, wow, what a beautiful woman. Wonder Woman wasn't built. She was made. Oh, yeah. I watched a lot of the Fall Guys simply because of Heather Thomas and the blue bikini. They cast the skinniest woman to be an Amazon. Oh, Blue Wrench Brigade. Blue Wrench Brigade. Oh yeah. I just love the Fall Guy TV show. I love the truck. Now I know why the had the toolbox door in behind the cab, because I noticed that as a kid. I thought it was a package of a truck that had like a toolbox in the bed, like the Ford pickups, where they had the little door on the passenger side that flipped down. And no, not cameras. They made the truck mid-engine because they were jumping the truck. That was in the era of when every vehicle had to fly. And they were, General Motors was supplying the Fall Guy trucks, but they were jumping them and they were beating the living tar out of them. So finally, General Motors said, "Look, we'll continue to supply you vehicles, but you need to make them last longer. We just can't keep throwing you vehicles like this." So that's when they re-engineered everything and they made it rear end or mid-engine. So that's why you see that toolbox door, is that's to work on the power plant. And I know that you can see it in the scene in the opening credits when he jumps the truck off of the trailer. You can see the toolbox door. Yeah, I always, this whole time, till I learned that, the whole time I thought that was a special package truck that just came with a toolbox door. Like, hey, Danster, what was the top tier? Was it there was a certain camper special truck that had its own fender in the box that covered up the spare tire. The spare tire was inside the bed rail. Danster knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's a 350. It might even be a super camper special. Buff Del Campo, what's going on? Super camper special, yes. The one I seen was gold, and the one I seen was an unrestored beauty, like really really nice used vehicle, nice, like 2-year-old used for sale. 73 through 79, yes. Yep, super camper special Ford. Thanks, Dutch. Now, they had the Chevy Cameo trucks. Those had the spare tire that laid down and slid underneath the bed. So like where your license plate was, that's where you flipped it down, and then that's where you took your spare tire out. Yeah, Rob Reiner, meathead. That's really too bad. It's a longer wheelbase with an 8-foot bed, but 140 versus 133-inch wheelbase. Um, what was the wheelbase on the 10-foot bed Ford pickups? Because I know that Chevy made a Longhorn. I don't know if it was a Chevy Longhorn or a GMC Longhorn, but they had 10-foot beds, and I know Ford's made um made a 10-foot bed also. I wonder what the wheelbase was on that. She was the show in Marky Post. Oh yeah, Marky Post. She played Christine on Night Court. Yeah, I love Night Court. There is a model with the rear wheel way out on the back of the truck, but there was one here, but they aren't worth anything. And the spare tire stows in the passenger's bedside just after the cab. Yes, you can tell that because there's a removable panel there. Yeah, and a big body line. I mean, it's not subtle, but it's still really cool. Remember, I like it when Marky Post started to get the real big hair. She made me think her hair made me think of Robert Plant. Big blonde mane. Night Court, original Night Court was a great show. Not so much when Yakov Smirnoff came on the show. That's late Night Court, where Dan is missing, and he went to Russia, and he's dealing with Yakov Smirnoff, where he introduced himself as Dan Fielding, and every time after that, Yakov calls him Dan Fielding. Imagine a new truck with an 8-foot bed. Yeah. Or imagine a truck with a 10-foot bed. The Super Camper Special was made for those giant camper shells which overhung the back bumper by 3 feet or more. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You needed all the GVWs. My mother-in-law, her old boyfriend, had brought one of those ginormous slide-in campers, and that was the biggest problem, was like the shower and everything. It with the tailgate, you left the tailgate on to support it, and it still overhung a lot, and then it stepped down because that's where the shower was, and the necessary room was just inside the door, and the thing was just in terrible shape. Main Street Mopar says, I was able to find a W2 Holly Strip Dominator intake to go with my W2 heads. My buddy has one in his shed. Nice. Isn't it like 6 hours away though, Ken? Still. W2's W2. W350. Nice. Ford made a bunch of those camper shells in 73, or had them made, and then destroyed most of them because of the gas crisis. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That, W means 4-wheel drive. Yes, it does in Dodge. Very good. W does mean 4-wheel drive. D's are 2-wheel drives. W's are 4-wheel drives. Oh, man. Danster's starting to speak Chrysler. Really want a limited slip Ford shop truck, because a big block with a tunnel ram is going to be disgraceful with a one wheelie peely. What letter did Plymouth use for four-wheel drive in the late 70s? The only four-wheel drive Plymouth there ever was the Ram Charger, and it would probably still be in the W. What's the B stand for? B is van. Van is B. So if it's a B150, B100, B200, B250, B300, B350, van. I use B van lower control arms on the front of shop truck to lower down the front. And I took probably 3.5 inches out of the front suspension of the truck, and I still used the stock springs that came with the truck. I never cut the springs at all. And I took a considerable amount of height out of my truck. Oh, F200. Sent me pictures of what appears to be ported so well with ported W2 heads and try to blend them together. You couldn't get a Plymouth pickup with four-wheel drive. Plymouth vans. Yeah, I do not think they ever made a actual Plymouth truck. They made Plymouth vans, yes. And they made Plymouth Trail Duster, but that's it. I don't think they ever made a Plymouth truck. There were four-wheel drive Plymouth vans. Yeah, Pathfinder conversions. Yeah, I'm pretty confident they didn't have Plymouth trucks. They had the Ram Charger and the van. In the 30s, there were Plymouth trucks. Okay, that's off my radar. That'd be cool to find, though. Man, that'd be cool. Danster's going down the rabbit hole. I know why Danster's thinking that, because of the Canadian Mercury pickup. The M100. If you want to go that route, then we had Fargo. Fargo's just Dodge. I don't think I've ever seen a 30s Pontiac pickup truck. There's this old guy, old street rodder, just this past October. The Plymouth Arrow truck. Plymouth Arrow truck? It was like the Little Red Express, the Little Red truck, but black. That's a Midnight Express. If it looks like the Little Red, but it's black, that's a Midnight Express. Yes, that was a D50 sold to the Plymouth dealers. Okay. Yep, Warlock was also Dodge. Yep, Dodge Warlocks. You had the Warlock. You had Warlocks came in orange, red with black trim, black with gold trim, green with gold trim. There's only a handful of colors those came in. Black and gold, green and gold, red and black, and there's another one or two that I can't think of. They had all sorts of cool packages, like you had the ranch hand or the top hand package, which like Chuck Connors owned one of those, and they're bright canary yellow with orange stripes, and they just gaudied them up. And those are super rare. And then there's there's 8 different colors. Okay, color schemes. I had a feeling that Old Dutch would weigh in with Voice of Reason. You had Macho package. Of course, you had your Adventurers and your Adventurer SEs. Adventurer was usually your top tier truck. Nicest stuff. Plymouth Arrow pickup, 79 to 82. Okay. Warlock, 76 to 79. I have a orange warlock tailgate for the wife's grilling table on the deck. There's another Plymouth Scamp pickup. Now, if you look at 72 through 90, or what is it, when they changed the body style, the core of the truck stayed the same. They just retooled the body. What was that, 80? So 72 through 80 or 81. If you look at like the bird bath hood and the body line that runs down the bottom of the truck and humps up over the wheel wells, if you look at a 72 a 71 72 Roadrunner, now look at, or Satellite or whatever, now look at a 72 73 Dodge pickup. Plymouth made the pickup. Plymouth designed it. They both have bird bath hoods. They both have that body line that goes down it. It's unmistakable DNA. You can see it. When Steve Magnante pointed it out once in the show, and I just like, he's right. You can totally see it. They both got the bird bath hoods that fill it full of water, so you dump that all on the firewall each time you open it up with it. I love the 70s trucks. My favorite Dodge pickups. They're good looking trucks. Most Warlocks I have seen were black. Most Little Red Expresses were red. It has to be a Little Red Express to be red. Lunch is... Oh, Lurch is an adventurer camper special 10,000 with factory AC. My bird bath cools my turbo with water. Water cool turbo. I try to find some chrome trim, put the lowest point of the bird bath to conceal some drain holes. Well, what a lot of my Mopar friends would tell you to do is relocate everything from off of the firewall, because you've got that cold water going right down on like your ballast resistor. That's all nice and warm. That's the last thing it wants is a cold shot of water when it's all nice and warm. So yeah, they ended. A lot of my one friend said that's what he did on every bird bath truck, was moved everything forward of the firewall so it didn't get dumped on each time he opened the hood. I knew what trucks. Stay away from 90s Rampage and Scamp. Rampage was fine. It's basically a K car. Put a turbo 2.2 in it. That thing will get out and move. Braden, what's up? Clint, what's going on? I think we'll just try to umbrella the firewall somehow. El Camino and Ranchero. It was so damn funny. The first year that I went up to, will there be a quiz at the end of the stream? Yes, there will be. And it's graded on accuracy. So pay attention. The answers are here. You just got to pay attention. I was buying and selling cars. Don't need to buy a car. Everybody knew was garbage and tried to sell it. Not much, brother. Just cooking some oxtail. Nice. Oxtail soup. Nice. I did fish sticks, or fish fillets, and some tater tots. It was mucho tasty. Smoked oxtails. Wow. we went to back when I was doing living history stuff. Um, Went to a camp, and a guy had taken a buffalo, and he had the buffalo robe, the actual hide, and unbelievably heavy and warm, amazingly warm, warmest thing I've ever had over me. And he had saved the buffalo tongue, and he goes, "I got a treat for you and me." And he goes, "Look at this," and he pulls out Gene Simmons. I mean, but it's probably at least 13 inches long, buffalo tongue. And he goes, "Man, this is going to cook up good." He goes, "Let's get it started." And he throws it in the fire, unwrapped it, and he threw it in the fire, in the ashes. I'm like, "Hey," and I got a stick to go get it. He goes, "No, it's fine." And I'm like, "It is?" He goes, "Yeah, it'll be just fine. Here, want a beer?" And we sat around and BS'd and drank beer, and you start to smell it cook and the juices and everything. Well, that membrane on the tongue, there's two veins of meat that go through the tongue. And basically, once it was, so it seals it all up, and all the juices and everything stay inside. And then finally, he grabbed those two hunks of meat and he peeled everything else off. And that was good, y'all. That was good. But it was just such a weird way to cook it. He just threw it in the fire. It was all covered in ash and stuff. I'm like, "What are you doing?" Small cocktails. Made some vegetable salad with a steak bone, and it was damn good. Having shredded chicken with cream cheese ranch seasoning packet and some cheese. You cook it for about an hour and a half in the crock pot. They'll pull apart, and you have them on sandwiches. It's so good. That sounds good, Braden. We enjoyed a deep fried turkey for Thanksgiving. That's good. But man, that peanut oil is expensive, Jack. I drove the crap out of a Rampage back in my Army days. Someone had in acquisitions checked the wrong box, so we got 15 new Rampage trucks in mint green. We used them as parts getters. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, those things, I mean, they don't rotate the earth, but they're not slow, and they move okay, and they handle excellent. Yeah. I loved how my Shadow handled. That's basically a K car. Mrs. Speck was looking for some taco seasoning at the stores here. It's not a thing. That's funny. Want me to send you some? I got sick of cow tongue. Okay. This was a little better than cow tongue. And hey, you get the right. Have the Mexicans make you tacos with tongue. Ooh, those are good. That's a lot of oil to fry a whole turkey. It is a lot of oil. Well, what a lot of guys I know do is they'll buy it and they'll fry with it, and then they filter it and pack it and then save it. And then they bring it out only to do their fry jobs. So it actually works out. It's still not cheap, but if you filter it and keep it good and everything, it'll last a lot longer. Better than chitlins. And cooks for 4 hours. I'm wiring in the first Hemi swap tonight. Giggity. Used to eat tongue and liver. I'm supposed to take to get WD 150s. Talk about way off the mark. I guess so. What's the most unique dish that you've ever eaten? Mine was over in China. One time, street food, I ate some crickets. Well, it's not a dish, but you learn to forage when you're in Boy Scouts, and you learn to eat things that you did not think were edible. And you can eat ants, and you can eat grubs, and you can eat all sorts of things. And yeah, We would go and forage. Did somebody say giggity? Giggity. All right. Giggity, 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 giggity. But have I ate snake? No, I have not ate snake. Good news here in Michigan is the most poisonous snake in Michigan just makes you really sick. So he won't kill you, but he'll make you wish you hadn't come near you though. Yeah, we would eat grubs and all sorts of stuff. Eat the tails off of ants, and they taste like mint. I'm dead serious. Uh, and all sorts of stuff. Just to, what you gotta do to survive. It's not glamorous, but it's better than going hungry. I've eaten alligator. Certain fry shops around here, you can get gator tail as nuggets. Hey, what's happening, Tim? Thank you. Tim, everybody at Indecisive Garage, he has the original Casper-Matic valve body in his 4R100. And that's been down the track at No Name Nationals. Good to see you, Tim. Always heard Daddy Longlegs taste like milk. We never ate the Daddy Longlegs. You want to know what's even more gross is when you start seeing people eating fish bones and everything else in the third world countries. Kind of weird. Well, there's third world stuff, and then there's old world stuff. Like my family back in the day would get, if they'd butcher a hog, they'd save the brains, and then you cut it in slabs, you bread it, and you fry it, and then you'd have it for dinner, and that was normal. Which I know everyone's like, what? The secret to better tasting, because everyone's like, I don't like liver. Why? And they're like, oh, it's bitter and it tastes like this and it's like that. Well, that's because it wasn't fresh liver. Like, fresh is best. If you were to butcher a cow today, this evening, tonight, like during the day, I butchered a cow. Tonight, you'd have liver for dinner, and fresh is best. It is awesome. So yeah, if liver tastes funny, that's because it sat out for too long. Last night, alligators served at Fishbones restaurant in St. Clair Shores. Ooh. They're sucking the juice out of the head of a crayfish or a crawfish. I'm guilty of that one. I can make a I love a good crawfish boil. Oh yeah. No, I won't suck the juice. You know what though, Braden? I won't suck the juice out of the head. I'll just eat the meat. Yeah, my brother-in-law will do that. Oh yeah. Some friends of mine every summer they do a full-on Cajun seafood boil, and it's just awesome. And then they'll have a bunch of hot oil going, and they actually asked us all before the party happened, we want deep fried ideas, deep fried dessert, and they had all this oil going for other stuff. So they're like, you want deep fried Oreos? Done. You want this? Done. What do you want? And I guess what a lot of the English fish fry shops like, I think it's English fish fry shops, is a Mars bar. And they bread it and they fry it. And I guess it's really good. George would do that. George was hard at work under a car last weekend. For your wedding, Actually, I had been to a wedding where the parents of the bride actually grew their own stuff, and it was called wedding cake. And then, yeah, they had a bar. You walked right up, and they'd give you some. Here, what? Oh, you had a a pipe. They pack it up for you. There you go. It was just like free for all. Caspermatic hat on night. Nice. Great minds think alike. What's the nastiest bottom feeder fish you could eat? Well, I mean, shrimp is a nasty bottom feeder. Shrimp is a nasty bottom feeder. Of course, catfish. They're bottom feeders too, but man, catfish is so good. Shrimp aren't bottom feeders? Are you sure? Oh, carp. Yeah, carp. Oh, yeah. Going speared for carp. I thought that's a shrimp. Okay. I believe you. Would you eat a seahorse? I don't know if there's even enough. Seahorses are like super duper small. I don't know how big a seahorse gets. I mean, I'm sure somebody does. Yeah, sure. I remember a guy filleting out a whole bunch of sunfish, and he called them silver dollar fillets, and each fillet was about that big around. Breaded them up and fried them up. They were delicious. Ran on gas, sprayed in the breather. I noticed so it needed a fuel pump. The guy only wanted $400. Yes, smoked carp after removing the mud vein is really good. Um, Steamed clams are good. It does have to be cooked right. Yes. What a guy would do is go get carp, and he'd fillet them all out, and he'd pack them in jars. And then, you know how it's got the fine bones in it? Well, he put a squirt of ketchup in each one and then can it and let it sit for a long while. And then all of the acid from that squirt of ketchup would attack the bones and then give the meat a nice pink color. And then he'd give it away as canned salmon. And people would eat that stuff right up. Oh, we ate salmon patties. It was great. If only they knew. But it just goes to show it's still edible fish if you do it right. Octopus or squid? Whichever of the two or both that makes calamari, because calamari is awesome. Littler is better. The smaller the calamari, the more tender it is and the better it is. Yeah, I love calamari. Octopus or squid only if they're cooked by a good chef, so they are not rubbery. Exactly. Exactly. The bigger they are, the more rubbery they are. So you'll find them. You'll find ones that look like a small like Burger King onion ring. Those aren't going to be very good. You want ones that are like you could set over your pinky or smaller. Those are going to be the good ones. Yeah, I love squid if it's cooked right. Then again, I like sushi. Love sushi. That one pink and white Mexican spec had shown a pink and white beetle not too long ago that had a custom back window put in it to make it look like an older split window, and it had the white center between the fenders on the door. It looks like a piece of salmon over top of rice. It looks like sushi. Apparently, shrimp are bottom feeders. I was just taught they eat plankton in the upper zone. Apparently, I was taught wrong. I'm not Harry. No, I'm Doug, not Harry. No, never been too hairy. Hell, I finally had to shave every day because I needed to. Uh, I back in the day I could shave once a month and be just fine. Now I gotta shave like once a week. I've never been real up on shaving. I'll get the the Don Imus. I'll get the Don Imus going on. I'm getting pretty close to it now. Yeah, I got the Don Imus going on. Me. Marcus Park Gorilla. Lars, what's happening? Good to see you. Welcome. Robin Williams was the Misky. Do you like eel sushi? I've never tried it, and I'm not opposed to it. I shave once a week, too, every 2 days. So Forrest Gump was dragging his nets on the bottom. Yes. There's something in my mug. That's interesting. What's this shaving you speak of? I shower every day. Grease spot, what's happening? Yeah, usually the last thing I do before my head hits the pillow is I take a shower. I used to be the guy that get up in the morning and take a shower, but now I'd rather, that's part of my wind down, is a nice hot shower. Off to bed we go. Actually gets me ready and once you go with your routine, that gets me, usually I'm tired out of a shower. I shave every day. You can't tell because my beard gets in the way. One of my dad's friends, his CB handle was crazy red, and he had more freckles than the law allowed, and his big wiry beard and curly red hair. And he had a big old hedge of a beard, and for fun sometimes he would crinkle it all up and smush it in, and then he'd let it go, and that thing would go boink and look perfect. It'd go right back to shape. I remember my mom ran a hair salon, so sometimes he would come and get a haircut from mom, and I remember him sticking his head out like this, and mom would trim the back side of his beard so it didn't catch on the buttons of his shirt or his overalls. Because my dad used to wear overalls to work, and periodically he'd get a beard hair caught in it, and all of a sudden you look over and you see a tear going, "You okay, Dad? I just pulled the hair off of my beard." Yep, nothing better than crawling into a clean bed at night. Oh yeah, so nice, all showered up, and that's the day when the bed sheets get changed. Oh yeah, that's like Super Bowl sweep right there. You got the heat turned up that high, Danster? We'd go down to Indiana to Diane or Lady Dougster's aunt and uncle's place, and they heat with wood. And oh my goodness, he'd go stoke up the wood stove, and yeah, it'd just be absolutely stifling. Plus, it would be a holiday like Thanksgiving, so the whole family's together. So body heat's high anyway, and he stokes up the fire, and oh yeah, it's just It'd just be roasting in the house. It gets warm in here around 0400. It's 90 in my house right now. Just kidding. It's actually 72. Yeah, we're like 70, 72. Don't even know how cold the shop is. $68. Yeah. Let me see what the temperature is outside. No, I can't get the external temperature. This morning when I went out to leave for work, it was 9 degrees. And then probably 3/4 of the way into work, I hit the heat wave of 11. Woo! Grandpa's got a boiler downstairs and a wood stove, but they don't use that anymore, so they use the fireplace that's upstairs. It's a real wood fireplace upstairs. Okay. Usually older houses, the fireplace, the chimney's in the center of the house. So you get a big, good skookum fire happening, and then you warm up all that brick of the chimney all the way up, and then it radiates heat throughout the house. There's one house over by me that's really old, and it has 3 chimneys in it, and they're big chimneys. Like each chimney through the house is rectangle. So I think the house has 3 fireplaces in it. It's a old ass house, and it's big as frig. 16 degrees here this morning. Well, that's cold for Mississippi. Oh, now they have a normal thermostat that heats the house. No thermometer or thermostat here. Boiler references the outside temp to run. Oh, okay. Yeah, boiler heat's awesome. It's good stuff, man. A guy that I used to hang out with actually is a certified boiler maker, not boiler maker, boiler repair. And he's talking about how a lot of stuff like the 4 1/4 inch pipe that's used in a lot of old school boiler systems is no longer made. So you got to adapt to, because it's always on the inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch. So what happens is he's got to take 4.5 inch adapters and adapt it to whatever size tubing, 5 inch tubing or 4 inch tubing, and then run the repairs and everything and reduce it all back down and tie in. And he was in the beginning of his career, he was mobile service, and he got called to an apartment building in Detroit, and he goes there, and the building he found out was built in the 20s, and the boiler system is from the 20s, and they've been keeping this humongous dinosaur going, and he goes through and it's no heat. So all the guy's tenants don't have heat. So of course he's in a big lather to get this thing up and going. And then hi Faith. And a guy that I worked with, he was a boiler operator in the Navy also. So he's going through this thing, and of course, the guy's like, just fix what's wrong. Okay, so he goes to check this thing out, and it's a huge area in the middle of this building. That's this boiler. They put the boiler in, and then they built the apartment complex around it to give you an idea how big the boiler is. And he goes, this thing's ancient. This thing's like 90 years old when he was working on it. And he found No, no, I never did ride on one of the Bobo boats. I didn't even know of them um, until I, as an adult, a number of years ago, when I seen the Fago commercial where they were on one of the Bobo Island boats. That was the first I had ever seen of one. I didn't even know that was a thing. I never even knew of Bobo Island because I'm from the west side of the state. We just never went there. So yeah, I never did. So he finds there's an actual office in this building, and then it was like 1979 or something like that. There's a calendar on the wall that's like December of 79 or whatever, and then there's a date circled on it, and it says Frank's retirement, and there's still like happy retirement stuff on the desk. like Frank retired and now out of here. So anyways, this thing needs a major overhaul. And he's like, this thing is not in good shape. He goes, just fix it, make it run. And he's like, it needs a lot of work. He goes, I don't have money for that. Just fix it and make it run. Can you fix it and make it run? He goes, yes. He goes, perfect. He goes, I'm not putting that money into it because it would take an extensive sum. Oh, I used to go down to the engine room and watch the pistons and rods rotate. Oh yeah. Boblo, proper pronunciation. Boblo Island. Yes. Yeah, and then it was Gibraltar, and what was the Canadian town? Yes, Gibraltar. You left Gibraltar to come over to Boblo Island, and then I forget what the Canadian side was. Yeah, I would love 15 in Wausau, Wisconsin. In Wisconsin. Andersburg. Yes. Yes. Andersburg. Okay. I'm going to get some more disodium monoxide. Be right back. No, I'm not peeing. I'm getting water off the fridge. Ooh, hey, look. Christmas tree. Da, 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 da. All right. Be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. All right. So, I got John Cope sent me something cool in the mail. Fine, then I will go whistling sounds. The P stream thought you by Doctor. Hi, Tom. I will pee for my Corsican twin. He feels better. The Corsican brothers. Oh, yeah. The one. The one guy's getting a slice of love, and the other guy's like, it's going great, Tom. It's 16. Yeah, the feels like it was 9 degrees this morning, but the feels like was like -3, and it was bad. I had brushed my truck off the night before, and so all I had to do was scrape the ice off the windshield, and my hands were mighty cold, just chiseling a little bit of ice off the windshield. So what John Cope sent me was ChemGuard transmission sealer, pop top can, full, and it's made by Chemical Dynamics Corporation, Chicago, Illinois. And it's got like a money back guarantee. Complete satisfaction or double your money back. And that was like a big slogan for K-Site products, or Cassite products. Yeah, because the guy Case started it. It's K-Site, but K-Site products had the money back guarantee. Never fear, the crash is here. What's happening, Crash? So it's got a big description on the back of it talking about the benefits, because you can use this in a power steer or a transmission. But my favorite thing is right here. You can hardly read it, but there's the word LSD. It says ChemGuard transmission sealer, an LSD formulation. It stops leaks by chemically reconditioning hardened or cracked seals. An LSD formulation. It's 10 degrees here. Heat wave. Yeah, so basically, yeah, trippy. So basically, the weather starts off at Dan's backyard, gets blown across the Great Lakes, gets amplified. Actually, first Tom sees it, then Braden sees it, and Dr. Go, and then it goes across Lake Michigan, then comes and visits me. Thanks, guys. I grilled in shorts. Yeah. Weekend before last, I took the grill outside and cooked some steaks and some potatoes, and it was good. Thursday is a special day because I get to go on my phone place and rid of this phone and get a new one. That's great, Faith. We're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. We're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. Grumpy old man. Yeah, we get the lake effect. Definitely get the lake effect. I guess it's supposed to be like 45 next week or something. We'll see. Yeah, lake effect is something else, man. I've seen snowflakes the size of golf balls. Big fluffy flakes. I'm exaggerating, but they get pretty big. Your dad is in the... Oh. Was he in the Navy where he could sail the 7 seas? In the Navy. We want you. We want you. We want you as the new recruit. $66 for Thursday. A man in a box. Hey, I hope your dad's all right, Faith. No worries, Faith. Your dad is made of iron. He's a tough old bird. He'll be just fine. I have some green now, alligators, long necks, some hungry back, ham molds, and some chimpanzee. Yeah, I hope everything works out. Catster's right there. Or no, he was on his chair. I like the song Unicorn by the Irish Rovers. What's one of the ones I like? Ramblin' Rover. To be a ramblin' rover, Triunky down to Dover, we will travel this whole world over, and together we'll take the world. I just pet the dogster she walked through. Oh, thanks. My sister made that for me. It looks skookum as frig, but all it is it's really light duty. Like she gave it to me like well over a decade ago, and I just had it on the shelf because I thought that it was too delicate to be used. But favorite song by Peter, Paul, and Mary. Didn't they do Georgie Girl? Hey there, Georgie Girl. There's a little Georgie deep inside. I think that's my, if I'm right, that's my favorite Peter, Paul, and Mary. Thursday, 48 degrees. Ooh, yeah. That's going to be a nice melting mess. It'll feel like spring. I wish I had some property come spring. Go out and tap trees and get tree sap, make maple syrup. But I don't have a lot of property, and I definitely don't have a lot of trees on my property. So much for that. Puff the Magic Dragon, Lemon Tree, Leaving on a Jet Plane. Ah, yes, Leaving on a Jet Plane. Puff the Magic Dragon is nonsensical. Brought him strings and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. Always thought it led to communism. He's a fighter just like me. That's right. He's a scrapper. I like that. That's a good attitude to have. Yeah, I finally had that cup on the shelf for a long time, and then one day I decided, my sister made that for me. She bought it as a raw casting, and she painted it all up. So that's all hand painted by my sister, and they put it and bake it in a kiln. And I thought, she made that for me. And I thought that, she'd rather it die in battle than be put up on a shelf the whole time. So I use it. Favorite song by the Monkees is Daydream Believer. I like Last Train to Clarksville. If you go to Clarksville, Michigan, there is train tracks, but there's no station. James Taylor's song, Carolina on My Mind. Oh, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days I thought would never end. That's my favorite James Taylor song. My favorite Animals song is Don't Bring Me Down. I got the song stuck in my head. At Kings Island in 1984. Wow, that's cool. I've never been even by Kings Island, because isn't Kings Island in like southeastern Ohio? Oh yeah, this is normal. She's all excited. Yep. She's got a little squeaker toy and she's got to squeak it 1,000 times for Lady Dougster. The cat isn't on his perch yet. Oh, just north of Cincinnati. Okay. I like the song You Are the Reason by Colum Scott. Oh, okay. Best song by Gordon Lightfoot. What it can't be recorded Edmund Fitzgerald, because that's everyone's favorite. Mine's Gotta Be Sundown. You've Got a Friend in Fire and Rain. Yeah, Fire and Rain. Oh yeah, You Got a Friend is pretty good too. Yep, squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. This is normal for the old Dougster. Yeah. Yeah, I've never been. Oh God, was it Montpelier? We used to go down to Montpelier, Ohio, with for this big thing for the Hopkins Public Schools, which is close to me. They would go down and they'd have a reverse raffle, and there was a huge prize, but they would start with all the entrants, and then throughout the day they'd pull tickets, and then you're disqualified as long as, so you get down into, and there's different tiers. So like you get down to 500, there's a prize. You get down to 250, there's a prize. You get down to 100, there's a prize. And then the final four is usually interesting and usually big. If you and 3 other people are still in it, a whole bunch of other people are coming up to you, making you cash offers on your ticket because they want to win. I think it was Montpelier, where we'd go down to some Holiday Inn. So basically it would be this whole weekend in Ohio. And it was everyone that, all my mom and dad's friends. The I-90 song? I've never heard of I-90. I know there's 75 South. I think it's 75 South. I heard that. Oh, there's the cat. There you go, Danster. I just pet him. I-90 be up north. Oh, I-95. Yeah, I-95. Ballad of the Green Beret. Yes. But the man of the Green Beret. Now remember, with your highway numbers, if they are even, they go east and west. If they're odd, they go north and south. So like I-94 goes east and west across the state of Michigan. And then like 131, that goes north and south. My favorite song is called Die From a Broken Heart by Maddie May. How sweet it is. Interstates. Low numbers are west and south, and they get higher going from... Yes. Yes, you're right. And it's like something like I-94 is like 94% of the nation or something like that. I seen a thing on numbering that was even more elaborate than I'm familiar with. Low numbers are west and south, and they get higher going to the east and to the north. Yes. No, Green Berets, not high ranking. I believe a Green Beret was a set of men, like a subsect, like Navy SEALs or Special Forces. Thank you. Lady Dougster hit the nail on the head. Special Forces. So I think that the Green Berets were Special Forces. Are. Yeah, they're still around. Hermits. Isn't Hermits? I'm telling you now. I'm telling you right away. Beach Boys performing Ogie from Muskogee. My favorite Beach Boys song, and I end every show with it, is Let's Get Together and Do It Again. Hermit's Perverts. The Dougster.
Oh, Wooby. Oh, Wooby.
They did Hermit's Perverts in concert.
What?
Nothing. Song Twin by Roddy Ricch. Never even heard of Roddy Ricch. Unfortunately, Faith, I don't recognize any of the groups that you've mentioned. Not that I'm surprised, just... Faith what?
Is she 80?
No. I think she's in her early 20s. Oh, the Beach Boys played Ogie from Muskogee. That's cool. That'd be cool. I'll have to check that out just cause. Ruby's all excited. That's why she was squeaking her ball earlier, because she's going to go out and play fetch. You hear her dropping it? And all the kids are clapping along, of course. They could howl like hound dogs, and the kids would just love it at one time. I mean, they're the Beach Boys, for the love of Mike. Yeah, I like cats and dogs, too. I love clapping cheeks. Braden, you're something else, man. Well, I mean, there's a whole bunch of old standards out there that get used and things that people have been inspired on, and they just like, hey, let's do this one. And sometimes you get out of the middle of nowhere Ogie from Muskogee. uh um I stumbled across the song again, the Time Has Come Today by the Chambers Brothers, and it's a really long song. And so I listened to that for a while, and then I stumbled across the Ramones covering The Time Has Come Today, and they actually did it justice. So there's the link. Now everyone's off watching the Beach Boys. We don't take our trips on LSD. The Ramones covered The Time Has Come Today. I discovered the Ramones version first. It really caught my ear. Okay. But have you heard the Ramon, or the not the Ramones version? Have you heard the Chambers Brothers version? Buckle. It's a long song. So it's interesting though. So that's one of the things where you like buy the ticket and take the ride. And another really long song that's really neat is Yes. And it's At the Gates of Delirium. And it's like a half-hour song. I'm dead serious. Um that's another buy the ticket, take the ride kind of thing. A new Fave Hag tune has got a letter from my kid today. It makes me leak tears every time. Close to the Edge by Yes too. Yeah, that's a hell of a song. It's a long song. Little Honda, first gear. It's all right. Second gear. Hang on tight. Third gear.
Wooby.
Heart of the Sunrise. Oh, I heard the Chambers Brothers version decades after hearing the Ramones. Okay.
You're welcome.
Bye, babe. I'm trying to work 2 jobs so I can save up money to buy a house. Talk about LSD. I dropped some before the Yes concert in '84 and listened to nothing but Yes for several years after. Well, Yes is so, it's that progressive. It's just so nothing else like it. Um, Good for you, Faith. Save that money, bank it up, and every dollar that you save up that you can throw down as a down payment, it's going to make your actual house payment that much less. Um, there are some people that want you to have like 20%. So if you're buying that's a considerable amount of change. Because if you don't have 20% when you go to buy a house, you get what's called PMI insurance. So basically, let's say that you buy your house zero down and the house is $100,000. I know that's cheap and unrealistic, but let's just hear me out. So the house is $100,000. You bought it with no money down. So the bank's only going to cover 80% of the loan. So the 80,000 is on the bank, and then a second mortgage company steps up, and then they cover your 20%, that $20,000. So you actually make two house payments until you absorb the cost of the PMI. And then, so you're making a house payment and PMI, one on the 80% loan for the bank and the one for the 20% loan. So the closer that you get to that 20% mark when you buy your house, you're eliminating PMI insurance. If you have 20%, then that's great because you've eliminated PMI and you'll have a lower payment. So just food for thought. But yes, just stack up every dollar and be a miser. Be like, that's for my house, nothing else. And just stack the cash away. You know, you're young enough where you could really sock it away. And then as you save and gain interest, then and you start to gain interest, then you can gain interest on your interest, then you can gain interest on the interest on the interest. You see what I mean? It starts to grow. So yeah. Ignore that text after the live. I didn't mean to send it yet. Oh. I'm glad we had the drugs we did when I was young. I wouldn't want to be young today. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of bad stuff out there. I started to stay away from all the sugar and eat stuff that is zero sugar so I don't become a diabetic. I don't want that. That's why I'm staying away from the sugar. Yes. Well, also, your sugar, be careful with your carbohydrates because carbohydrates is basically sugar too. So my mom got the apple juice without sugar in it. There's a lot of apple juice works good because there's a lot of natural sugars in Ruby's all nice. I buy juice with sugar, I just don't drink it at night. Always look into the reference. Always look to refinance a year or so into the PMI because your equity could eliminate the need for the PMI. Ah, yes. Good job. Good job, old Mac. I didn't think of that. Yes. Yeah. And you want to actually like show a realtor or show a bank how serious you are about buying a house. Make sure your credit score is right because everything you can't scratch your freaking end of your nose without a credit score, it seems like. So make sure that you've got decent credit. And then so if you say, hey, this is the house I want, and I have a good credit score, and I have not that I really care much about credit scores, but buying a house is kind of a major thing. But that way you show to the bank that you're a serious player because they're going to look at your age and be like, she's only 20 in her 20s. But if you say I got a good credit score, I have a good financial record, and then I have a good down payment. You know, I've got $10,000 to throw towards this house, so you know, since I stopped drinking but no Mountain Dew or water and switched to 100% fruit juice or water, I've stopped catching colds. Used to get one every year. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Down payment of 20% or more will get rid of the PMI. Yes. Yes. Yes, it will. And then also, if you can afford to, Faith, when you make a house payment, pay extra. Pay extra and pay towards the principal. So if your house payment's, let's say, $700, try to make it 900. So it isn't, it isn't that much more, but at least you're chipping away at the principal, and which will help you save on interest. I'll just deal with the sugar. I don't diet anything going down my trap. I'm a Diet Pepsi guy, and yeah, I used to drink a lot of Diet Mountain Dew, but I realize now that I don't need all that caffeine, so I go to Diet Pepsi, so it's got way less caffeine in it. Otherwise, yeah, I drink Mountain Dew all day. Boy, there's a soul sect of people like me. Yeah, diet stuff, it's fine. Would you rather have a regular Pepsi? Of course. But Diet Pepsi isn't too bad. But then there's like Colleen, there's like diet nothing. Zero sugar, not happening. I don't want that crap. That stuff tastes funny. To each their own. I used to drink soda pop all day. Now I just have a little bit as a treat. And it's so much better that way. Yes. Yes, it is. I've trimmed back on my soda drinking. I've trimmed back on my beer drinking too. I'll only drink a 12-ounce soda once a week. Oh, so that's why you've been buying those Yarritos, because that's your real treat. I get what you're saying. Save it up. Get the good stuff. At work, I can get small glass from the fountain. Okay. Yeah, on a normal day at work, and Blackberry Ale 81. I've only had regular Ale 81. I've never had Blackberry Ale 81. Lady Dougster brought home some Blackberry Dr. Pepper, and that actually was pretty good. I like Dr. Pepper anyway. It's going to suck. Coke is no longer handling Dr. Pepper, and they're going to have Mr. Pibb. There were places where they had like Coke, and then there was Dr. Pepper. I think Pepsi was carrying Dr. Pepper in places too. Not enough, Gold Mac, not enough. So I've determined the best way is to just drink a little soda from a fountain. Soda is gotta be mixed right. That's the one thing I hate about most places is you go to the soda, you go get a pop, and it just doesn't taste right. They've always got the mixture screws wrong, and not enough syrup or never too much. It's always leaned out and it tastes terrible, especially soda at the bar, because they don't want you to taste the soda. They want you to taste the booze. That way you're not like, oh, you poured me a weak cocktail. But I wish most places would take the approach like McDonald's has. Now, I'm not a McDonald's touter, but you got to admit, a soda from McDonald's is good. The Coke tastes phenomenal. The Sprite is good. And I'm not a Coca-Cola person, but you got to admit, they got it down right. That and movie theaters. Most of the movie theaters usually have the pop dialed in just right, where it tastes good, where it's got all the syrup and everything. You're paying $10.99 for a drum of pop. You might as well, hopefully it'll be good tasting. I've become addicted to R.W. Knudsen just grapefruit juice. Never heard of it, but I love grapefruit juice. I may need to give up the gin or get some kind of dispenser. like they put on pet feeders. Ah, like Kroger brand Ruby Red. So do you think you're just gonna have to like buy 2 pints of gin and then for the evening, and then once you've waded through your 2 pints, that's it? Can't go get more? I'm trying to quit drinking alcohol. That's my goal. Okay, that's a good goal to have. I didn't quit drinking. I just trimmed it way back. So I still will have a beer every here and there, but not like I used to. Grapefruit juice is good for your cholesterol. Grapefruit juice is also will help you burn fat too. Um, a lot, although there are a lot of people out there that take certain medications and they cannot be around grapefruit anything. Oh, Leinenkugel's. If you like grapefruit juice, look for Leinenkugel's grapefruit shandy, and then what's the other grapefruit? Shiner Ruby Redbird. That's grapefruit and beer. Oh man, that stuff's so good. I like it. It comes out around summer. No, no store brands. They're full of corn syrup. Okay, I can see that. I'm thinking those little airplane bottles. I had 2 of them in the plane on the way down to Maz, and I was high as a kite. So what? Get a couple of airline bottles, and then that's your metered. That's your metered for the night. That might work. Well, hey, that's good to know, because at least you're recognizing the fact if you've got, if you've got a handle in front of you, you're going to drink a handle. If there's a fifth in front of you, you're going to drink a fifth. So, that's pretty, your animal enough to be like, I just need to make sure I only have this much and then I have what I want. Made barbecue chicken for lunch today. Barbecue chicken. Cranberry juice is another good one for sobering up if you need to take a drug test. Here in the state of Michigan, very rarely do they worry about you testing positive for marijuana, so that's cool. But everything else, though, it's nights I work and come home and drink, and I overdo it those nights. Days off, I'll drink in the afternoon and stop and eat dinner and be done. Okay. If you're on blood pressure medications, you can't drink grapefruit juice because it naturally lowers your blood pressure. Can't make money selling juice. Cholesterol meds are the opposite of grapefruit juice. They cancel each other. Oh. I had a friend from Michigan to Texas for a while, and then he would bring me home ruby red grapefruits from Texas, and oh my God, this place that he was getting them, they were just out of this world. They were sweet. They were literally sweet as candy. They were just wonderful, the best I've ever had. And then out of the blue, he's like, hey, I'm now driving to Florida. We're not going to Texas anymore, so I'm going to Florida. Don't worry, man. They got grapefruits there too. And he'd bring me some ruby red grapefruits from Florida, and they were still good, and I still appreciated what he did for me because he didn't have to do it. But they were nothing like those Texas ruby reds. Man, those things were good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Those Texas Ruby Reds were just wow. Hands down the best. My friend's son, he's an adult now. I think he's drinking age now, which blows me away. But when he was a real little guy, I had some of those grapefruits, and this is the Florida grapefruits. No, it was some of the Texas grapefruit, and I'm eating it, and I eat them like oranges. I peel them and eat them like oranges. And he comes up to me and he points and he goes, orange. And I said, no, it's not an orange. It's a grapefruit. Grapefruit? Yeah, it eats like an orange. And want to try some? He goes, yeah, I like oranges. And I said, it's not an orange, it's grapefruit. I handed him a section of that thing. I like the yellow grapefruit juice, but I can't find it anywhere here. Pomegranate juice is good for reducing plaque in your arteries. I'm going to have to buy me some of that pomegranate juice. I can eat the juice, but I can't eat grapefruit. Durian fruit, is that the one that's got the it smells terrible but it tastes wonderful kind of thing? I can drink the juice. I smelled it you were stepping in, Danster. I'm not on blood pressure medicine. I drink cranberry juice and grapefruit juice. Man, back in the day, Whole Foods used to be called Whole Paycheck because that's what you spent there every week. And I don't know. It's still, I mean, you're getting good stuff, but boy, you'll pay for it. Yeah, mango's good. Have you guys ever tried Tajín seasoning? Mexican, a lot of Mexicans have Tajín seasoning, and it's like chili powder and a bunch of spices, and they sprinkle it on fruit, and it's weird, at first, and then I'm like, what is that? And they're like, here, hand you a piece of fruit, and here, put some of this on it, and it's kind of spicy, and it's really good. So try Tajín seasoning on. Faith has 11 subscribers already. She's in double digits, y'all. Holy wow. Next thing you know, she's going to have 500. Yes, there are still IGAs, and they tend to have good meat. Yes, IGA always did have good meat. I made a food channel. Score. We had this one supermarket that was owned by a Polish family, and what on earth is that? Oh, I see. It was owned by a Polish family, and they used the family Polish sausage or kielbasa recipe to sell their kielbasa and stuff in the stores and their brats. And guys, it's off the hook good. Well, the family sold to a large conglomerate, and the conglomerate was just going to make their normal recipe of kielbasa and brats and everything, and everyone lost their flippin' minds. So now they actually have, so it's this brand grocery store, and then there's a secondary sign that says it was the guy's first name. We'll say it's Stan, and it's like Stan's Meats, just to say that we still have the recipe. So they actually went to the family and bought the recipe, and that's what they still make it, and that stuff's hands down good. Can you even find a Cops anymore? Haven't seen an IGA in a while. IGAs aren't in my area. If you go up north, like an hour and a half, and you start getting out in the BFE places, there's IGAs. Tim from Indecisive, are there IGAs in your area? Tim's way further north than me. Toys R Us maybe wanting to make a comeback. I hope it does. Half a cup of coffee is better than no coffee. Check there for the juice. There's two brands I get from there, Knudsen and Lakewood. The Lakewood kind of tastes like they press the whole fruit peels and all and makes the juice too bitter, a tad bitter. I'm trying to get creative with my channel. Well, make it undeniably yours, Faith. Butchers do not produce good meat. The distinction goes directly to the cow. Well, yes, but they can also, it always pays to befriend your butcher at your local store and talk to him every week, because it's going to be, Carl the butcher who's going to be like, hey, you might want to go take a look at the pork steaks this week. Look at these beauties. Or T-bones, boy, we got them. And look how nice these things are. Or stay away from those. Those things are garbage. You don't want that. He'll point you in the right direction. I have not seen one in 10 years, says Indecisive Tim. Okay. Well, I know that they used to be in like the podunk areas. If you could bring any store back, what would you bring back? Would it be Kmart? Would it be Shopko? Would it be Toys R Us? Would it be Macy's? Would it be Bed Bath & Beyond? Gordman's? Oh, wow. We had Gordman's here for just a little while. I'd bring back Kmart just because Kmart was born in Detroit. So just for nostalgia's sake, I'd bring back Kmart. Sears. Yeah, Sears. Sears was awesome. Going to the tool section with Dad at Sears. Yeah. Going and buying a Sears, Kmart, Radio Shack. Radio Shack. Yeah. Definitely want a Radio Shack. Family owned a Radio Shack. Awesome. Blockbuster. Yep. Yeah, Radio Shack was nice because you could go get just small parts. Like you needed transistors and relays and all that R-pot or something like that. You could go there and get pot for short for potentiometer. Not that pot. Well, maybe the guy working behind the counter could hook you up. But yeah. And what was even funnier is the Optimus brand Radio Shack stereo equipment. All that was the last run of Pioneer. So whatever's brand new right now for Pioneer, the last series, they produced under the Optimus brand. So it's all Pioneer. So you're actually getting good stuff. I mean, Pioneer is good stuff in my eyes. Always like Pioneer. I liked Toys R Us when I was a kid. I always got a toy that called Paw Patrol. And I got older, they got rid of all the Paw Patrol toys. The original Walmart from when Sam Walton was still alive and it made in the USA. Yeah. Walton's used to have a 5 and dime. They started off as a 5 and dime store and then worked their way over into Walmart and everything. Radio Shack off themselves in the 90s trying to sell computers and phones and big ticket stuff. Yep. I worked at Radio Shack for like 6 months in the 90s. My friend Jeff, he worked at he was a manager at a Radio Shack. He had an entire stereo in his LeBaron GTS that he had like a late 80s LeBaron GTS, and he had a full Radio Shack stereo in it, and it was all set up nice and everything, and it sounded absolutely spectacular. You would not think that all that cheap ass, well, inexpensive car audio stuff would work that well together, but his stereo sounded awesome. Does anybody remember Geo Trackers? Oh yeah, Geo Tracks. They were trains with tracks that had a remote and a button to turn them on, and you could hook them up different cards, hook up different tracks. Yes. Holy crap! The Paw Patrol came out 23. How old are you? I think Faith's in her early 20s. I remember the shake that goes, and there was a car that you shook, and then you put it down on the track, and they ran around the track. Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I couldn't sell Radio Shack stuff with confidence because I knew where to get it all at a quarter of the price. The old MCM mail order outfit, they had a warehouse about 35 miles. Oh wow. Tawas, Michigan. Oh yeah, Tawas has a Ben Franklin. So does Marquette. Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised that there's still Ben Franklins out there. One of the old pawn shops that's now closed up in Hastings. That was the old Ben Franklin that they turned into a pawn shop. There was a red and blue car, and then you shake them, and then you had two buttons, and then you had to start them the same time, and it would actually tell you who won. Oh, wow. Cool. Oh, man. That's after the 2 hour mark, so this is where Dan goes, no! I'm going to pull the plug on it tonight. So, thanks for coming, everyone. Always a good time hanging out and shooting the breeze. Yep, there it is. No! So, let's be like the Beach Boys and let's get together and do it again. Be here, same Dougster time, same Dougster channel. Great hanging out with everyone tonight. Bye, everyone.